It's like, okay, let's see here. You want to go over to the Riverside Tavern? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get you over there in 2 minutes. And if you go ahead and select this driver, all right, good. And you'll be there in 20 minutes. And
we got your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you did that the first time. I died. I had to
Thank
walk
you for
away.
using Uber. Kiss my ass.
Yes.
Hey, this is Adasa, the voice of Dolores from Disney's Encanto, and you're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. And before I go, because I am the voice of Dolores, I gotta say, hey, grew to live in fear of Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. Stay tuned for more.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast. They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. In this episode, we present a story from our Walt Disney World Epic Universe podcast trip back in June 2025. And specifically, we are talking about Narcoossee's and Yehaa Bob. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in Epcot every day letting you know that lounge-specific coasters have arrived at GO82.
There you go.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and just for the halibut, tell you all about our dinner at Narcoossee's.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and you listeners have the easy part. All you guys and girls have to do is to listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
I'm Rachel.
Hey, look, if you're thinking about visiting the Universal Orlando Resort or the Walt Disney World Resort or the Disneyland Resort for their 70th, Rachel can help you book that. And booking with Rachel is one of the easiest ways to support our show. Also, you can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and wherever you access our show. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, we want to thank our Patreon supporters for all that they do for us. So yeah, before we get into it, does anybody have any jibber jabber today?
You put out a clip, and I've been trying to share more of the clips. And so there was one you put out where we did for Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And
that got a lot of hits.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a line that said, yeah, you should burn an effigy in yada. And some guy I used to work with a long time ago messaged me and said, damn, that was funny. I just subscribed to all your shows.
There was somebody who said something. Remember how I said there was some jack about the what was that? You know, we got so much flack on the because we took the women's side.
Get flack on.
Yeah. But the Am I the Asshole show?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we got a lot.
And there was one where the woman was like, but not the woman. There was one
Party was talking about, I've been to this place, that
they were
place.
talking about the woman and saying that, yeah, I've been here, I've been there, blah, 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 blah. And she is this and she's that. And there's some guy who just, all he posted was, I like to play with adult Legos.
Listen.
That was my favorite comment. I was like, that's it exactly. He gets it.
Yeah.
Find your joy.
That was perfect. I love this thing.
Yeah.
That was wild.
All right, y'all. So enough about jibber jabber. Let's go talk about our trip. Welcome to The Hub, the big topic segment of our show. And as I mentioned in the intro, we present tales from our latest podcast jaunt back in the beginning of June 2025, specifically the weekend in which Muppet Vision 3D closed. Funny enough, it was a very short 3-day trip, but there's a lot of stories that came out of this.
We packed a lot of living.
We did. We packed a lot of living. I wasn't exhausted, oddly enough. Like, compared to our Disneyland trip we went, I was exhausted
he
with that one. Oh, well, his feet weren't happy
It was
with
my
us.
feet, not my endurance.
Oh, I think it was both.
Not true.
The body was not willing, but the mind was.
Yes, well, the feet weren't.
The feet were definitely not. Yes. But we came out with so many stories to tell. But all these stories that we're about to talk about centered around people, individuals that we've encountered that we just stuck in a memory. And it was just like, wow, we're having good conversations. We're talking. They're very memorable. And so for each of these shows in this series, there are people that are involved. And for this one, our very first one, the people involved are over at Narcoossee's. We got Kaylee, Tom, and Amir. Tom and Amir being the longest time servers over at Narcoossee. We'll get into that more of that detail.
Oh, just like longest time of anybody? Not just of the people you're talking about?
They've
Correct.
been around since the restaurant opened.
Yeah, and I wrote it down.
Wow,
Tom was there
that's
28 years, and Amir was there 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's awesome.
They knew each other because they've been there for that long.
And we'll get into how we found out about all this a little bit.
And then when we go over to the Riverroos and tell those stories, of course, we have Yehaa Bob and our server Xavier.
One thing I do want to let people know right off the bat is that long-term fans of Narcoossee's will remember that there was this Finding Nemo sculpture displayed at the entrance of Narcoossee's. And it was made...
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was made entirely of white chocolate. And it was like a coral reef. And there was Bruce and Crush and Marlin and Dory and, of course, Nemo. And the last time we were there, I asked where it was because they had just reopened Narcoossee's. And they're like, oh, it's in a backstage area. We still see it. Well, I'm sad to report that it's... Supposedly, it could still be in a backstage area, but no one has seen it. The Finding Nemo sculpture, I don't know if it's been packed away in a crate and shoved next to the Lost Ark. It's gone.
Quick to eBay!
Yeah.
Somebody ate it. Like, what?
I don't know. I asked the host when we got there. It's like, so whatever happened with that? It's like, oh yeah, we think it's somewhere backstage, but we haven't seen it in a long time.
Wow.
So sadly enough, we don't know where the white chocolate Finding Nemo sculpture is anymore.
sad.
Ask
does
Dory.
suck.
See if Dory
It's
can
melted.
help.
She doesn't remember. Of course.
She doesn't remember.
Yes. But of course, Narcoossee's took place on the day that we arrived. This was our arrival day.
Yes.
And so we got into the hotel. We got all checked in. We'll talk about the hotel, which was Animal Kingdom Lodge, on a different show. So make sure you stay and subscribe for that. Because there's a whole other adventure that you'd want to hear about this because it was a fun experience for sure. But we took some kind of ride share from Animal Kingdom Lodge to the Grand Floridian. And so as we're walking through the Grand Floridian, if you remember, we got to see the construction site of the birdcage bar and all that.
Yep.
Birdcage completely gone.
Why do when I hear the birdcage bar, I think of Nathan Lane and Robin Williams?
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear.
It does sound like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make me fall down.
I do not wear shoes because they make me fall down.
Yes.
Soup is like a main dish. So we got to see that. We walked through it, and then we got to Narcoossee's, and this is like our first meal of the trip, and we're unwinding from the plane ride. It was a lot of fun and whatnot. Eli was nice and relieved from all his plane activity.
Terror at 50,000 feet.
Yeah.
It's more like it.
Yeah. I was like passenger Pepto-Bismol. So.
Yeah, you listen for that. I don't know when we'll talk about it, but there was a point where we got off the plane and Eli went straight to the bathroom.
Talk about
Just
that. Yeah.
Guys, be
Yes.
careful what you put in your system before flying.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Everything worked out.
Yes, it did.
By the time my luggage came around, you came out. But it was good.
It was touchy.
Oh, that was the fastest I've ever been in a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But anyway, Narcoossee's are great, right? So
Yes.
we got there. It was just before dusk. We're totally expecting to see the water pageant and all that. We get seated at our table. We have our waitress, our server, Kaylee, spelled interestingly enough, if you remember that. Kaylee, Keylee.
EI.
Yeah,
No.
Lie.
L-I-E.
L-I-E. Okay.
Lie, yeah.
remember.
Okay.
I remember K-Lie.
Lie. Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
Kayla. It was very, very chic because all night we were trying to get her name so we could do the cast member compliment thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She was she was our server.
It was her birthday that weekend.
Nice.
Very infectious laugh. That
Yes.
laugh caught me. But she was just all around just a great server.
Spot on with her recommendations. Like everything
time.
that she recommended was good.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried it all.
We
Oh,
did.
God, yeah.
We did.
That was the best meal, I think. I mean, of course, it's Narcoossee's. What else do you expect? But we had like what is it?
It was a lobster appetizer or something like
It
that.
was like a
It was
half
tail.
pound steamed crab.
That too, yeah.
Yes.
Alaskan
Eli
king
wanted
crab.
that.
Yeah.
Alaskan king crab. I remember I had the plancha seared scallops because
Yes.
that's always my go-to with the Parisian noshi. And then Eli and I split a lobster tail because we were doing, Eli was doing, he already had a steak and a lobster tail, but he wanted another. So he wanted to do surf, turf, and surf.
I heard,
Yeah.
I misheard her.
Mhm.
And she was like, yeah, you can do surf and turf, which is on the menu, but then it was like turf and turf. But no, surf and surf.
Surf and surf,
My
yeah.
bad. Yeah, surf
Yeah.
and surf, which was like 2 lobster tails. And I was just so hungry. I thought I heard surf and more turf. And I was like, yeah, let's get all that. But no, we always agree when we eat. to try to taste what everybody has, so you could get a full experience of the menu.
It was very, very good. Had plenty of drinks. It was very, very tasty.
And she was a perfect Disney cast member to start off our vacation with because she was joking around with us. I mean, that's kind of what we do when we go. You start joking, and if the person you're with goes along with it, you know you're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
And she even said that. It's like, y'all have been my best table.
Yeah,
that's right.
She had a very infectious laugh.
Yeah, her laugh killed me, man.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't even recreate it, but I was just like, that's awesome.
And she even offered to hold our food until after the fireworks. We were like, no, Kelly, we're starving. We just got off a plane. Just bring it to us. We're good. I'll go outside when the electrical water pageant comes.
Right.
And,
we're prioritizing that one over the fireworks for sure.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Didn't come.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it's fine because it's kind of it's a kind of a daddy-daughter thing. So
I can't play the role of the daughter.
I was fine with it. No,
that would be terrible casting.
As much as he's tried.
Yes. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work.
It doesn't have the same chemistry.
No.
Yeah. But I think it was like thunder or something that it's
lightning
there was
or something.
A little bit of weather.
Yeah, that's
something.
all it was.
But that's what Kaylee said was that she thought that the weather had something to do with it because she was like, it should have been by now.
We also learned a new term, and I don't know, Rachel, if you heard of this term.
Oh, goodness gracious. I was just talking about this today.
Yeah, we're going to get drinks and stuff, and we're talking about in New Orleans how you can get drinks to go. The Go Cup, is that what we call it?
That's what we call it.
And she referred to it as road sodas.
Road sodas.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
You've heard of the term road sodas?
This is a northern term, road
must be.
soda.
It must be, yeah, because I've never heard of that.
I just brought it up to Jeff, and Jeff's from Wisconsin, and he never heard of it. So I thought maybe, maybe
northeast, maybe perhaps? More northeast.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, no, I've definitely that's not a new term for me.
Okay, that's good because I didn't know there are too many places that allowed that. I guess on public streets outside of New Orleans, because I've been to places where it's like I go and then it's like, oh, you got to finish that before you go out, leave the bar or something like that. I'm like, ooh. And to know that they have road sodas in other places makes me very happppy.
Yes.
And I will book a vacation to Rachel to those towns so I can partake of road sodaing.
Yeah, she had our back because that was definitely something. We shut that place down. Like,
it was
I
nice.
We'll get into it, but yeah, we were like, yeah, we're sorry, we're still working through it. We had all kind of drinks. Like, ma'am, some of these drinks is good and strong. It's going to take some time. And then that's when she threw out, the road soda comment because I was not going anywhere until that drink was finished.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
But, the thing about Kaylee is that she was very, very, very young. And so inquisitive as we are about our favorite Disney restaurant, we started asking about the history of Narcoossee's. And she told us all about, the standard lore, like about how Narcoossee's means like little bear, and it's like a small town in Osceola County and everything like that. She told us about that, which was nice, but I mean, we kind of knew about that, but we kind of wanted to press on certain things about the history of Narcoossee's. And that's when Kelly was kind enough to send over two of the older Narcoossee's employees, and Tom and Amir, because one of the things we've always been interested about was Narcoossee Nick.
We brought that up on the show several times, yeah.
Right. Longtime listeners of the show will remember this, and there's a reason why we come up with this name Narcoossee Nick. And that's because a long time ago, Kevin, who kept every Burn Bomb guide ever.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like my encyclopedia of Disney knowledge, official Disney knowledge.
Yes.
So to speak.
There's what you call in the 1988 edition, before the Grand Floridian had even opened, they listed as one of the restaurants Narcoossee Nick's. And it stated, and I quote, live entertainment features a ballad singer who will tell guests all about Nick. So we were always kind of curious about that, but it never really kind of made it to be. And so we were asking about it. And when she sent those two older servers over, they started to tell us a little bit more about the history of Narcoossee's when it first opened and how it wasn't meant to be the elegant restaurant it is today. It was primarily an oyster bar. And you could get a drink, you could down some like iced raw oysters on the half shell, enjoy some live music. And there were actually live entertainers playing music by the original bar.
They had a stage, behind the bar. I remember them saying that.
So now, like, you could still get like some kind of seafood options and everything, but the menu was limited. Disney realized because of the great views and the guest demand, not to mention, I guess, that not everyone's a fan of raw oysters, they had to rethink it a little bit. And so they remodeled the kitchen and made it bigger, thereby accommodating a wider range of options for what they could make for dinner. So they got rid of the whole live entertainment to allow for more seating and more of more like an elegant atmosphere, like more fine dining, I guess you would say. And that's how the Narcoossee's know and love came to be today. However, during like the redesign, like they just redesigned the bar not a couple of years ago, she showed us this, and it's there that the Imagineers made sure that the bar at the Narcoossee's that you see today has pieces of oyster shells in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, to pay homage to the original intent of Narcoossee's. So just something to keep an eye on next time you go over there. Go to the bar, look for those oyster shells. That's meant to pay homage to the original intent of what Narcoossee's was meant to be.
The oyster bar concept.
The oyster bar concept, exactly.
Yeah. So the whole Narcoossee thing was awesome. And what leads us to Tom and Amir, which are two longtime employees of Narcoossee's, was the whole idea of the ghost of Narcoossee Nick or something like that.
Well, we were asking about Narcoossee Nick because of that, because we heard about the whole oyster thing and everything like that. And we were like, did you ever hear about Narcoossee Nick? And she said, hold up, let me go talk to him.
Right. Well, comes before over. That, if you remember, I looked it up on ChatGPT and we showed her this thing to read. So she read the little thing. She's like, oh, I've never heard of this. And then she's like, oh, well, these two older guys that have been here forever might know something about it.
Can you read that? Like
what ChatGPT said?
Yeah.
So this is what I looked it up because, initially when we asked her, she wasn't too sure what that was all about. So I looked it up and I let her read this just a little bit so that she knows. All right. So this is what ChatGPT says about it. And actually, when we were searching for it, I was actually quite surprised that ChatGPT was able to return something. And I think, Danny, you were surprised too that it gave back this much detail.
I did not think,
Yeah. I was like, this is a shot in the dark. Let's just see if ChatGPT knows anything. And this is what it comes back with. It says, first of all, I asked the question, who is Narcoossee Nick? And it says, Narcoossee Nick is often described as an old fisherman or sailor, possibly a ghost or semi-mystical figure who haunts the docks near the Grand Floridian. Cast members and longtime fans sometimes spin tales about him to enhance the ambiance of Narcoossee's, especially for kids or curious guests. He's sometimes used as a playful backstory explanation for things like mysterious ripples in the water, vanishing silverware, or odd reflections in the lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So when we heard that, when we asked her about that, she sent Amir over, and Amir couldn't wait to talk to us.
Excited.
He was out of a cannon.
Yes, he was. And
just to remind you, he's been there 32 years at Narcoossee's.
It seems that Narcoossee Nick is the nickname that the older servers gave to a certain spirit that resides within Narcoossee's.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they were very specific because then he brings Tom over. Tom really didn't.
He didn't want to go official on record. He was very, very careful about saying it, but he had a lot lot to tell.
So,
we should. We probably should have changed his name just.
To protect the innocent. Okay, yeah.
We'll change it to Wopat.
Wopat?
Tom Wopat. Yeah,
the Duke
the Duke's Hazard. I don't know.
Bo Duke said. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot of unexplained occurrences apparently that happens over at Narcoossee's. For starters, like I can tell you, like that they believe that this thing exists, and they believe that there's two of them because there was a female server that I guess passed away unexpectedly, and they believe that she is now around there. Because I remember asking about like, well, what makes you think there's two? And it's like, well, certain things are happening after she passed, and it was kind of akin to what's little things that she would do.
Yeah. Right.
So we were told stories about how billfolds would just fly open and then fling across the floor.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
There were glasses that would mysteriously shatter.
Yes.
That was another thing that we would hear about.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wopat said there was a story where he went to the bathroom.
Allegedly. If this happened, we're not saying it did.
Yes. But he would,
if this guy told us a story, he may have said,
and it was something that he would go in, and typically, right, it was like the lights should be off if you're not in, and all this other stuff. But the lights were on,
and then they would shut off.
Yeah, and then it was like something about the
there was a blow dryer.
The blow dryer went on by itself.
So stuff that was supposed to be automatically off was on. Past the time was supposed to be
because the thing is, like, he was far away from the blow dryer. It was an automatic blow dryer, and so it would just go off, if you put your hands underneath it. But he was at such a distance that there was no way he could set it off. And I remember him saying that he even tried to recreate it.
Yeah,
and it was like, this is impossible because I'm too far away from where I was standing to the blow dryer for it to just to go off.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so, I mean, that's got to be terrifying. You're in the dark. You're using, say, the urinal. The lights go out and the blow dryers go off. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's the scary thing. That's not having any toilet paper while that's going on.
I'm not, in that instance, I am not washing my hands before I run out of that bathroom.
Touch the ghost. Deal with that.
Like a Roger Rabbit hole through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. But they were very, in fact, like I remember them being so passionate
Yes.
about telling the story that it was like, no, we're with you. Like, just tell us more. And
Well,
like,
especially when they found out we were from New Orleans and they were like, oh, so y'all must have seen some things as well and whatnot. And they even told like how they would leave like cookies on the bar.
Yeah, at the
I wanna
bar.
say,
Yeah.
for the ghosts.
That's right.
To kind of appease the ghosts so nothing bad would happen during their shifts.
yeah, akin to us with Muriel's, right? Like,
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was very much like Muriel's.
And just to explain for the
JP will get
listeners,
that,
yeah. For those that don't know, Muriel's is a restaurant here in New Orleans, and there's actually a table that is set up for the captain's ghost. Is that right? Or,
Well, the guy who owned the restaurant lost it in a card game, and when he got back, he was so depressed he hung himself after losing it. And what they call it's now the seance room,
right?
but that's where he hung himself. And he hung himself from there. And then the new owners, they turned it into a restaurant. Mysterious things would happen, so they set up a table because they were like he hated losing this thing so much that he's haunting this place. So they set him a table so he would feel like he was part of it, and that helped calm down the activities. So if you go to Muriel's in New Orleans in the Quarter. Right by
Almost by
St. Louis
Jackson Square. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
On the edge
Jackson Square.
corner of Jackson Square. Yeah.
You'll find that there's a table set up for this ghost,
Mm-hmm.
and there's wine, there's plates, there's everything. Like and the
Nobody
staff-
sits there, but it
Yep.
is roped off, and you can definitely see it through the windows and stuff.
yeah.
It's a stop on every one of the ghost stores, the haunted ghost stores, in,
Right.
in
I
the
got a
French
picture
Quarter.
of it somewhere.
Yeah, so it's akin to that.
Yeah, JP
you know?
and Josh will remember that story, but that's
Yeah.
exactly what they did. They would leave cookies for Narcoossee Nick.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's fun.
And
Yeah.
once we shared that story, that opened up to them a whole lot more. So like, we're coming from it, and boom, floodgates were open at that point.
Yeah, they're telling us stories about reenactments that they would do allegedly, and
Allegedly.
all kinds of stuff. Sometimes seeing like spirits in the waters or whatever, something like through the restaurant. All kinds of different
Yeah.
things. Yeah, a lot of different stories.
So move over, George, over at Pirates of the Caribbean. Disney World has a new ghost, and his name is Narcoossee Nick.
Watch out. Know what
Got to
you
bring him
did
back.
was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe if we recognize Narcoossee Nick, it'll bring back that buffet breakfast, the breakfast buffet they used
No,
to
we
have.
talked
He
about
asked
that.
about
Yeah,
that
it
too,
is.
and we were told what happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, it was basically that.
Well, let's set it up. So, what was the meal that we're talking about here?
Talk about that brunch that they used to do over at Narcoossee's, which was not like a traditional all-you-can-eat brunch where you just go up with the tongs, and it was made to order, and it was very reasonable, very affordable. You could have as much as you wanted to drink. Bottomless mimosas, bottomless Bloody Marys.
We like that.
Yes.
But tell about the Bloody Marys.
The Bloody Mary was
in
fancy,
itself.
right?
It was
Wasn't it?
bacon and shrimp, and it was crazy.
It was shrimp, crab legs. I have pictures of it. I'll show it. I'll share it with y'all if y'all want to see it. But I mean, yeah, it was one of the best brunches on property, and they were about ready to get rid of it, but all of a sudden it got really, really, really popular.
Yes.
And so they were rolling with it for a little while, but something happened, and was it COVID? I can't remember what.
I think COVID, yeah.
Okay, and that's what really kind of put an
The end
end
of
to
that.
things. And
Yeah.
so
Well, but he also said too that because they had the kitchen, like something about like the staff, right? And they had the one staff that was just rolling through with all of the brunches, but then they had to prep for like I guess
that's right. They had to prep for the dinner, and they couldn't
swap it over fast.
It was
enough.
the space of the kitchen. It wasn't big enough to accommodate two different meal sets.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Wow, okay.
yeah,
And so the kitchen's going through at least two remodels. One when they first opened, and because they were making room for, okay, now we want to make it more of a full service restaurant and not a oyster bar. And then just recently, about 2 to 3 years ago, it went through the second remodeling to make the kitchen even bigger. And I even asked him, I was like, is the kitchen so y'all good now? He's like,
no,
it needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
It needs to be bigger.
for the demand of that place. It
For the
needs to be
demand,
bigger,
yes.
yeah.
Well,
Exactly
talk to
it.
these ghosts and see if they can help y'all cook some of this brunch.
For real.
Tell you what, bring that back.
They need more real estate. They just
Yeah.
got to build out into the lake now.
It was fun because you guys were going about the history with them, and I was like, "What happened to the brunch? Like, what happened to that?" So yeah, we got all of our answers fulfilled. All that.
That's
that was
nice.
good. It was good.
It's
It was
good they had that info.
Yeah, no, it helped to have run into those two older employees that happened to be working that night.
Yeah.
Because I
Oddly
mean,
enough.
that's like really our favorite restaurant. And so to kind of get a little bit more of the history of it, because that's something that doesn't really get preserved.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows about rides and stuff like that and attractions, but restaurants, not really.
But that's what makes it adult. Like everybody's like, this is for kids. Nope, that's an adult meal that you're gonna get there, they treat you pretty good. And remember, Chef came by.
Oh, he dropped off stuff,
and he
the
brought
legs. Yeah.
He made a point to say, I don't know how many people are fans of reality television, but if you've ever seen the show Deadliest Catch, where these guys that go out to sea and the water hits them and it's all this danger so they can get lobsters and crabs. Apparently, Narcoossee gets the prizes from that show. So I told the chef, I was like, thank you, chef. Tell the guys in the fishing there, thank you, because I've seen that show a couple of times. It's dangerous out there, but look, that lobster was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That lobster, those crab legs were just unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And I don't know, like, Rachel, are you a fan of espresso martinis?
Yeah,
I love espresso martinis. Narcoossee's has they called it a mascarpone espresso martini for dessert, like as a dessert drink.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't think mascarpone cheese and a espresso martini together would be a good match.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
It was unbelievably awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Great.
Kaylee recommended it highly, and I'm like, you don't have to twist my arm on an espresso martini, and it was really, really good.
Yeah, if you follow us on Instagram on
It was
Magic
like-
Our Way, I threw up a picture of that up there. It was great.
It was like foam almost. Like it was so good.
Oh, we have a noodle place, like a noodle bar in our hometown that does teas, like frozen teas with cheese foam on top, and it's mascarpone cheese. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's sweet and creamy. It's very nice.
Nice.
It's delicious. That's like probably one of the best espresso martinis I've ever had.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how good that was. I wouldn't have thought those two things would have blended well together.
No, that meal was flawless. Like, I mean, each thing that was had was very good. And then, like you said, outside of our general servers, like I think we had one lady that served us the appetizers, and she was fun.
That's it. That's
You're
it
the
right
best.
there.
What you got? Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I took a picture of it.
Yeah, it was
I showed
very
it for Rachel. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That foam looks great.
Yeah, and that's like a little cheese crisp there, Rachel.
Yeah, that cheese crisp was a nice balance because it was a little salty.
Yes,
Ooh.
the
The
salty
sweetness,
with
yeah.
the sweet. It really worked well.
Yeah, really, really good.
So, guys, if you're not going to Narcoossee's, you're missing out. You
Missing
really
out
are.
big. Get some surf and turf and more turf.
It's
lobster
truly
bisque.
the best property, the best restaurant on Disney property.
Mhm.
Bar
It's
none.
funny because just like a lot of the shows and stuff that I listen to, it's like you don't hear Narcoossee's mentioned a lot.
And it should.
No. Yeah, I agree.
If we don't do anything else, like if we never crack a gazillion listeners, I don't care. As long as we get the message out, guys, go
Gotta
eat
go
at Narcoossee's.
Yeah.
Please do us a favor and just like make that the official Magic Our Way
Staple of restaurants.
exactly.
Yes.
That's all I care about.
And that's but that's fair because a lot. And I know we'll go into this in future episodes, but we've heard this a lot. Well, as an adult, I want to go on an adult trip and this and that. Look, this is still a thing where Disney will tell you, here's an adult restaurant. Don't trust me. Chip and Dale didn't show up and like do a dance and like serve cake and all. It was a legit, serious restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
they have this. So, I mean, I want the cruise to get all the props and all the love. That's for the Deadliest Catch fishermen right there.
There you go.
That's keeping them employed.
All right, so we finished up that great meal in our koozies, and so we had some time to kill. And as we said, the water pageant wasn't rolling, so then there was nothing around stick around for us. We walked out, and we said, "Hey, Yehaa Bob's playing a little bit longer over there at the River Roost Bar Lounge at the Port Orleans Resort," and so we decided, "Hey, let's just go for it. Maybe catch a couple of tunes, sit down, have a drink, of course, because it is a bar lounge kind of thing."
Rachel, have you ever seen Yehaa Bob?
No. Well, we didn't sit, like I walked through while he was performing, but we didn't like sit down and watch.
Oh, so you had the exact same experience we did. Awesome. This is great. Okay.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh.
So we caught an Uber or rideshare, I can't remember what it was, and we took it from Grand Floridian Resort all the way to Port Orleans
Oh,
Resort.
wait, but hold up. We got to say something in here.
Yes.
Okay, so before we did, because I was going to order the Uber, right?
Yes.
I know where you're going. Yes.
Okay. And I said, okay, so we don't go to the wrong, because time was the factor. Is it French Quarter or is it Riverside? And I think it was Kevin that said French Quarter.
Right.
And Kevin said French Quarter. And I booked it. Immediately, Kevin's like, no, wait, my bad. It's got to be Riverside because it's Riverside. Yeah, we definitely. It's like, oh, shoot. Now, the Uber hadn't accepted the ride quite yet. You know how Uber does? We would make jokes about
I know
this.
what you mean.
Okay. Listeners, this is something that we would joke about.
Ride sharing around property.
Ride sharing on property is one of those things to where if you order an Uber, like, and this is one of those things that I was doing as like a little skit just to kind of like make us laugh along the way. But let's say we were going to, I don't know, if we're going to Typhoon Lagoon.
Yes.
Let's say we're going to Typhoon Lagoon. You pull up an Uber, and Uber would always show you that there was somebody literally within 2 minutes of you. And then every single time you book that guy, by the time it ran your card and like, okay, and you're good, and now you're 20 minutes away. So
It's kind of like a lightning lane.
right. It was something like that. So I used to like go ahead and like we did it just for fun. Like we'd
2
watch.
p.m.? No, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's see here. You want to go over to the Riverside Tavern? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get you over there in 2 minutes. And if you go ahead and select this driver, all right, good. And you'll be there in 20 minutes. And
We got your money.
yeah, exactly. Like,
when you did that the first time, I died. I had to
thank
walk
you for
away.
using Uber. Kiss my ass. Like,
Yes.
but it would keep happening.
It would
So
keep happening.
when we ordered it first, it said we were going to French Quarter. I changed it before the guy accepted because Kevin literally caught himself as you said it. And I changed it, and still the guy brought us to French Quarter side.
Yes.
Yeah, he wouldn't change it. We thought that had went through, and these guys are like stoic. They're just like,
Machines.
yeah, we gotta go here.
Yeah.
Understood. You are here now. Get off. No, that's not where we want to be. Get out.
Yeah. Well, there's not very, I want to say there was maybe in all, and we took at least 6 to 7 Uber trips. There was maybe one Uber driver that spoke complete English.
Oh my God. Wow,
Yeah,
that's like a
that's-
trivia quiz because I'm trying to remember which one that was.
I think it was the brother that, you know, like
He told that guy?
within 10 minutes, like you were talking to like, oh, yeah, I
Politics.
love everybody. Everything's good and everything like that. But Donald Trump is this and that.
Yeah.
He went crazy.
He still had some sort of accent, but yeah, that was. Yeah, I remember he was
he
a
did
big
that.
dude because I had to sit behind him. I was like, my knees hurt, but whatever, bro. Yeah,
Mhm.
but this person, when they were dropping us off,
Mhm.
we said, "Hey, we want to change," and this guy was like, "No, you are out here." So
Yes.
yes,
You would pretty much would have had to book another Uber driver. So we were like, okay, well, let's just walk it.
yeah.
Yeah, because we knew they were connected by the river,
Sassagoula.
Sassagoula River.
The Sassagoula, yep.
Sassagoula, yeah. So we take off. We're hoofing, you know, trying to make
Yeah,
the
it is
walk.
walkable.
It's
Like, very
walkable, but we also
Yeah.
we could have taken the boat because we saw a couple of boats passing on the way and was like, well, shoot.
It was like psych.
I'll be honest, though, that was like one of my favorite things.
That way, I know. I agree too. That because I remember doing a lot of sightseeing on it and comparing it to where we live.
Yeah.
Because it's a Port Orleans resort, and like we're stopping, and it was like, oh look, there's the horse thing where you pick up the horses, and then oh look, the lanterns and the Spanish moss, and oh look at that bridge, look like a small version of the Huey.
Yeah, I was saying,
Yeah.
the bridge looks like the Florida Avenue.
Yeah, the
bridge.
Florida
If it
Avenue
was
bridge, yeah.
blue, I'd be like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah,
Right. So I really enjoyed that. Like at first I was like, oh man, we're going to miss it. Because I remember saying like on the walk over, it's like, we're going to walk in, like, you're not even going to hear the yee. It's going to be, ha, I'm done. Goodbye.
yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't
he was joking
too
about
far
that.
off.
Right.
no.
To what happened, but the walk over and looking at how they did the wrought iron balconies and the what do you call it, the lamps,
Yeah, the lanterns.
how they were made to look like our
yeah.
gas
Yeah.
light lamps and Spanish moss and trees. I was like, wow, this is
A lot of
really
detail.
amazing. Because Port Orleans is one of those resorts I've avoided like the plague. Like I avoid Pop Century, I avoid Port Orleans because why would I go to Port Orleans? I live in New Orleans. If I'm going on vacation, I want to be transported somewhere else.
Sure.
Pop Century, that's just kitschy garbage. No offense to anybody that likes it. That's just my
Kitschy.
yeah. That's not what I'm looking for in vacation.
Right.
I don't want to stay in the Rubik Cube house. Anyway, so going through there, I was really amazed by the amount of detail. So I'm glad I got to see that because I don't think I would have seen that any other way.
If we weren't in such a rush, we could probably leisurely walk and just enjoyed every bit. Because if you
Yeah.
remember for those that have been fans when during the lockdown and stuff, we did a series of shows about New Orleans and Disney. And so a part of that show was analyzing how much Port Orleans, Riverside, and French Quarter was similar to where we live. And to be able to see it for the first time in person would just really, it's it amazed me. I was just like, wow, they really did us good justice here, man. I'm very happy about that.
Well, that's
they
good
did.
to hear.
Yeah.
Even
No.
the design of like the plantation area of Riverside, it's like, you see those columns and the houses and stuff. It's like
Unbelievably
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah.
Like, is it the same thing? No, but they do such a good job. I was happy to see it. I really was. So that was good. I didn't mind that so much. The only thing I minded is that, as I said, we walked in and literally Yehaa Bob is playing "You've Got a Friend in Me." Good night.
It couldn't have gotten any closer.
No, it really couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like way above Kevin in
I was
Eli.
way behind. Like, I was.
no, we walk fast and I don't walk that
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, no, I walk
So,
fast. I'm 6'2". I got a long gait.
He has
What can I say?
practice.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, y'all leave me.
But while we were there, they had a drink over at the River Roost Tavern.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite drinks that I've had on property that I had no idea existed. And it's called a smoked turkey.
And all three of us got that.
And all three of us got that.
Amazing.
And we even tried to order a second one, but the bartenders were being total dicks, man. Like
The server was cool. He's like,
Xavier,
"Let's try it." Yeah.
our server Xavier was awesome.
He was great.
He tried to get us another one, but they were like, "We're not making cocktails. You want beer or wine? You can get that,
Something
but we're not.
simple, yeah.
Nope, shutting it
We're
all
done.
down."
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of bartender does that?
Exactly.
Right.
But a smoked turkey, Rachel, have you ever had one of these?
No.
It's Wild Turkey 101
Mhm.
bourbon, Red Stag Black Cherry bourbon, grenadine, Minute Maid premium lemonade, and they have a hint of hickory smoke to go along with it, along with some Luxardo gourmet maraschino
Girls,
cherries.
it was fantastic.
It sounds like a Frankenstein monster of a
Amazing.
drink,
It
I know,
does.
but it is really
It works.
good.
It was a
Amazing.
beast.
I
It was
loved it.
Great.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wish I could have another one.
It was very refreshing for what
Oh,
we had
another one right
gone
now?
through.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so Xavier was really cool. He worked at both Disney and Universal.
Yeah,
right?
During
But-
his career, he was.
Yeah, he started Universal first, and then he came
Yeah,
over to Disney.
Whatever
And
it
we're-
could take.
asking him to compare and contrast, and he was giving us the skinny on what it's like working for Disney, what it's like working for Universal.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
it was kind of neat. Yeah,
I don't want to get into it just in case anybody listens and gets them in trouble or anything like that.
That's fair.
But let's just say, I mean, I don't think it takes too much of an imagination to get this, that one of them is a little bit more lenient in your interaction with guests and one of them isn't.
a little more controlled. Yeah.
Yes. We started asking too, but because we went up to go see Yehaa Bob at one point in
Well,
time.
let's give props to Xavier because we weren't too sure if we could say hi to him afterwards.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead. He loves it. Go ahead."
Yeah.
So we went up and
He
we
lives
got
for
to
that.
meet with to Yehaa Bob. He was a really nice guy.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Talked to him. He asked us our names like he does even in the show, and he invited us back the next night to catch his set. But he gave us like pictures of him, and he signed it for one for each of us. So
Yeah, we
got
didn't
mine.
ask for it.
Yeah.
If you look right behind you, Kevin, right there, that's the
If you
Yehaa
have the-
Bob
yeah.
signature right behind you.
Yep.
So, he signed us autographs and everything like that. He asked us to come back the next
The next
day.
day.
Yes.
And we were like, we want to, but we got something going on.
Mhm.
We're going to do everything we can to get over here.
Yeah, but still, God bless the man. Over 70 years old, still doing your
Still
dream.
doing his
That's
gig,
something-
man.
Doing the
that's-
thing.
That's
Yeah.
an inspiration to anybody, for sure.
And such energy. Like
Yes.
we only caught the last 2 minutes of his set, and such energy he brought to that room. And there was maybe 4 to 5 tables in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a packed house.
It was not a packed house.
Like I
yeah.
really figured like Yehaa Bob, and that's such a Disney staple that we were going to have trouble getting in there. And you could walk right up to the stage.
Yeah, I mean, this was a Thursday night on a weekday in
Mhm.
early June.
Yeah.
Granted.
Granted, so but I know like on the weekends it sometimes gets packed and stuff, especially with locals and whatnot. But it was that kind of speaks to like the crowd levels of the trip. It was pretty manageable for the most part. So this was no exception. But yeah, he was such a great person, and I was very glad that we had a chance to meet him. One day we'll go back and we'll catch his full show because I know one thing he does do is remember your names, and then during the course of the show he'll call out your names and where you're from, and he'll sing a whole song for you and stuff, which is such a kick. But yeah, he was such a nice guy, man.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Very cool.
Took the picture with him when our fingers pointed.
yeah,
And
whatever
he
you wanted.
made sure our fingers were pointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we all had to do this.
Yes.
Because-
Okay.
Yeah, well, he got accused of things, so I'm thinking he wants your fingers pointed so his not accused of his fingers being anywhere else.
Oh, Lord.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Well, after
Yeah.
that walk, that'll be some extra energy for us. But that's fair. But no, again, a really good guy. Could have easily just been just like those bartenders, like, hey, I'm done. My act is over. Get these 3 bums out of here. But no, took the time to say hello.
Not
sign
only took
autograph.
hung around.
Yeah.
Hung around and took his time packing up, took his time by the piano and said hello and was kind and cordial to anybody and everybody that came up.
Talk to
speak
people
him.
in the bar. I saw that when
Yes.
he was done with the show. So,
And not
yeah.
just talk to say, hey, thank you so much for coming. Here's a picture. Here's a, all right, have it easy. Like, asked you questions, engaged you.
You don't get that too often.
No, you don't.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And Xavier, our waiter, was really, really nice. We engaged him in conversation because I asked him about, like, because I'm like, this guy's kind of a big deal in Disney lore. Like, has there ever been any celebrities that came over here and saw this guy? And he was telling us, like, yeah, there was one. And I asked Kevin and Eli if they could remember it.
Yeah.
I think it was Selena Gomez. I might be wrong. But
That's cool.
that came over to see him perform. I could be wrong on that one. But that got us into a whole discussion about what it's like to meet. And this was going to be a good lead into an experience that we had later on in the trip, where when you go to conventions, because that's what we were kind of sharing stories about, meeting celebrities at these comic conventions and how rude and dismissive some of them are.
Yeah.
And how, like, because like we met like Carl Weathers,
R.I.P.
Yeah, y'all
Apollo
cast her,
Creed,
yeah.
We met our
R.I.P.
hero.
Yes.
We loved Carl Weathers. He's from New Orleans.
Yes. Graduated from St. Aug.
Apollo in the
Apollo
Rocky
Creed,
movies.
Action Jackson.
Grief Karga.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And The Mandalorian.
Of course.
Loved him. Got to meet him. The guy was about as close to
Cardboard.
Cardboard.
Yeah.
as you could get.
That
Like,
was tough for me to use that word.
if you've ever seen, so he portrays a character in Happy Gilmore. And he
No,
and he
you mean
portrays a
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. You're right. My bad.
I know what you're talking about.
Arrested
Yes.
Development. He portrays a character where it's all about getting money. That's really what he was all about.
Yes, we here. Yes.
And by the way, not speak. We don't know what's going on. Like 2 months later, he died.
yeah.
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 So maybe he just wasn't feeling good that day. I don't know what was going on that particular day. He just was not feeling it and stuff like that. So we're talking about that. And then Xavier's telling us about how he met Lou Ferrigno
Mhm.
and he was a big Lou Ferrigno fan. He tried to talk to Lou Ferrigno and Lou Ferrigno was like, get out of here, kid.
Yeah.
And then just 5 minutes later, some hot blonde goes up to him and he's like,
Some blonde.
oh, come over
Hello.
here. Hey.
Come see some gamma rays.
He had a preference, of course.
Yes, he did.
Is
Yeah.
the thing, yeah. But that was the coolest thing about Xavier, because I remember y'all talking about he just started engaging with us.
Yes.
I totally didn't expect that. You know, we just came off a run, or not a run, a fast walk from one resort to the other, and
A
we're just
jaunt.
like
A jaunt.
a quick jaunt, and we were just sitting there. It's like, we missed him. Okay, we need a drink. We have this drink, and he comes around and he just starts chatting with us, man.
Yeah.
It's just like-
Yeah, and we
yeah,
gave
it's
him
great.
some back. Like that's always the thing when you're talking to,
that's how you have a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we're not thinking we're above you or nothing that. Like we're people. What you got going on? Thank you. What's happening? We love to do that, and if you get the right person, which we were lucky to have in Xavier, just like Kylie, just like Amir,
Yeah.
like they'll give that back, and yeah, that makes the vacation that much more lovable.
There was only one
Yeah.
cast member that I thought was a terrible.
You talking about the
Disney cast
same
member.
night?
No. It was a different night. We'll get to it a little bit later.
I was about to say.
But there was only one cast member I think I met that didn't meet my expectations for a Disney.
You
cast
have me
member.
intrigued, sir.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you say?
It was it over at Enchanted Rose?
No.
No, it wasn't that experience.
No.
Okay.
I think she was just busy. She was nice. She was polite. It was at the Tambu Lounge.
Oh, her. Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, well, I wasn't there. That
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
No one I didn't know.
All right, let me ask Rachel this question. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe we're stepping on our own appendages here.
I'm learning that.
But Rachel, have you ever been to the Tambu Lounge and been there late?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of that if you go up there 15 minutes to the bar's closing, that they don't make you no more cocktails? It's only beer or wine.
No, but I've not.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if I went like that late. I don't know.
I
I've
have.
not heard that. As
I've
long
never
as
heard
you're
that.
there in time, I feel like, yeah.
So they took the same rule that the other people did at the river.
No. The people at the Riverside Roost were right. We got there late.
Okay.
Xavier tried to
finagle after hours. Yeah.
Us to have another drink, and they were like, "Absolutely not. We're not doing it."
Okay.
Now, fair enough. Whatever. We were late.
If they're closed and they're saying like, "Hey, we're technically closed, but we can get you a beer or wine if you want." Like, I can understand that.
Fair enough. Exactly. I'm cool with that. I literally watched the clock.
Okay.
And then Kevin and I were going to come down and meet you up, and I'd already bought the first round of drinks.
Right. That's why I'm like, I don't know what's going on because I was getting the food.
Yeah,
so this is new for me.
That's right. Yeah.
You weren't around for this.
Right.
I told Kevin, I was like, let me get you another drink.
Yeah, because I went off to the gift shop to, get final something.
I looked at the time. I saw we had 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to walk over there 5 minutes to closing. That's a dick move. I'll walk over there 10 minutes to closing, make sure I get us another drink. And this woman told me in no uncertain terms, no, you can only have wine or beer. I'm not serving you a cocktail. We don't serve cocktails 15 minutes prior to closing. I have never heard that. I have closed down the Tambu Lounge on many an occasion. I have never heard that before in my life. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to get in trouble, but that actually did happen.
Okay.
Not only that, I'll give you another one. When we showed up and we first ordered the first drink, this woman said, like, because we walked up, I've never seen this before. Rachel, you would have been like, whoa. You walked up to the Tambu Lounge. There was nobody there. It was what, Kev? It was like, what, 10:40?
10:40, at least somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. We walked up there. There was no idea. You know why? Ohana shut down
the entire day.
Yeah, it was shut down the entire day. And I said to this woman, I was like, what happened? Like, did something happen in the kitchen? Is a fire? Why is Ohana shut down? And she was like, I don't know. Why don't you go ahead and Google it? Y'all guys know it before we know it.
I remember that.
Yeah. And being like, okay. And I looked it up and I still couldn't find it. Wasn't like WDW News Today or WDW Magic or anything like that was covering it.
Yeah.
No one said nothing about it, but yeah. Ohana was shut down all day. So when we went up there, there was literally not a soul anywhere in that. It wasn't like Tambu Lounge was like packed. It was not. It was Kevin and I. Eli went downstairs. There was maybe four other people at the
table,
bar.
Yeah, maybe another dude at the bar. Yeah,
exactly. There was maybe small. 6 people total, and she refused to serve us.
Wow. Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I never heard of that.
She talked to she had a manager or something too. When you asked what happened to Ohana, and then she messed up someone's drink. Something like that too. Because she was like, "Oh, I did it again," and then like the guy was like, "Okay, well just try it again." But okay, I didn't know all that happened because I left to go downstairs.
Yeah, because you wanted to get food. You were hungry.
I was dying. Even that's a weird experience.
That's how we knew Ohana was closed, because you were going to order noodles. And they were like, "No food." Why? Because Ohana's closed.
Right.
Oh,
well, what happened?
That explains things, because where is everybody?
Yeah. But there was still somebody that cleaned it up in Ohana. I saw the lady. She looked depressed. I didn't ask questions. I saw her cleaning up back there. So apparently, something that would happen. But okay. Wow. Well, and where did I go get the food at?
Captain Jack's.
Captain Cook's.
That is a weird experience. That was
well, that was the only place to get food, so I'm sure it was like busy.
Well, it was busy, but it was like it was like I felt like I was at a Denny's after midnight.
Pretty much,
just all these weird. It was a lady that showed up in a bathing suit that she shouldn't have been in. There was this other lady that wore like horns and was like this gothic chick. And my meal was
like
after
Maleficent horns.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not wearing horns. I mean, she's dressed like Maleficent.
Well, she looked like it, but I'm just saying. And then like there was just like all these all these different dudes, like I don't know, like I went up there waiting for the food. I was like, please just let the meal just show up. And like they got a weird system there. Like they have like you could do a mobile pickup, and then like of course they'll call your name one time, all this other stuff. So like it was kind of like food purgatory.
Yeah.
While I didn't know all that had happened to y'all though.
Yeah, it did. But then we went outside to eat because Trader Sam's has like.
Yeah, it still had a line, which is crazy.
People,
yeah.
Deep in line. So we went to the outside portion of Trader Sam's, and that bartender, she was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that bartender, unlike the one upstairs, said, "Last call." And when she said last call, it was literally 5 minutes before closing.
Nah, I can respect
Last
that.
call.
Get it now. You're not
Does
getting
anybody-
it on again.
I can
Yeah.
respect
Yeah, last
that.
call is good.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
And she was
cool.
really, really cool. And she accommodated us. We got like 2
Did a bunch of
drinks.
rock jokes.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of rock jokes that happen while we're waiting.
Yes, because
Yes.
rock joke. No, he's right. Because they would have a rock and they would use it because they are the outside portion.
So it got
So
windy. Yeah.
It gets windy. So you put this rock on it. And
receipt, the
it
receipt,
holds
yeah.
down the receipt.
Yeah.
So, but the rock will say between a rock and a blank.
Yeah.
It would be like stuff like that. It would be rock jokes. Like
What if it was a
you
wrestling
smell-
joke or whatever?
Yeah, I was
gonna
gonna
say,
it was Dwayne the Rock.
Yeah.
I know I was going to say, it was
Yeah.
like, can you smell what your wallet is cooking? I thought that was, no, that didn't happen.
No,
That did not
should have.
happen.
Oh, that's
But-
fine. Okay, I didn't know
It was
that.
neat. Yeah. That's when
But-
you were sitting at the table and we were up getting drinks.
I was done. Like after
Yeah.
I went and waited all that time, and I remember I had like a lapu lapu with me. I waited that. I finished the lapu lapu, and then like I had the food. I was bringing it to y'all, and I remember there was this older drunk couple that saw me, and the lady like looked at me, and was like, "Oh my god, is that a drink in the pineapple?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a lapu lapu. Look it up. Get out of my way." I
Forward
was
the
done.
Eli was hangry.
I was not for.
He was
I was
hangry.
not for tour. Yeah, I was hangry. I was not for tourism at that point. Like, you know.
You were not for tourism.
I was not. I was like, let me sit down. My feet was hurting. Dogs were crying, not even barking.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eli eats a lot on vacation.
I mean,
Takes a lot to keep
I
that
walk
energy
a
going.
lot.
His feet.
True.
His feet will
Yeah.
come up on a lot of these episodes.
He needs to be dragged a lot. Let's
That's
put
not.
it like that.
I didn't keep up, but I didn't need help. But yes, when
Oh,
I
you
needed
needed
my
help.
time to sit down, I needed my time.
You needed help.
I was on my feet the whole time. There, getting food and everything. People looking crazy and everything.
You
I was-
almost cost Kevin Dinosaur. I'm just saying.
I apologize for that.
It's okay. I made it anyway.
I made sure drinks was good, but yeah, I'm sorry.
I didn't. I told Kevin, I was like, Kevin, go. You ain't gonna make
Save yourself.
Save yourself.
I made it with less than a minute to spare.
I
And unlike the
heard.
bar, they still let me in.
They usually do.
They usually
that was
do.
a
That's
different
right.
issue, but I heard
Yeah.
about it. I did feel.
But we'll have more stories of
Yeah.
Eli's feet because we run into things like that. And also because of it, we discovered some neat things, especially at Epic Universe.
Yes, indeed.
Because of his foot.
Yeah.
Or feet, I guess, rather.
You're
So,
welcome.
Anyway, yeah. So hopefully that's one of the stories that we had. Narcoossee Nick and Yehaa Bob, our experience on the trip. If you have any questions or any comments of anything we did, man, reach out to us. And we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed our stories from Narcoossee's as well as Narcoossee Nick, the River Roost, Yehaa Bob, all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, if you want to learn more about us, make sure you follow us on any social media platform. We're very responsive. And also, if you want to contact us to share your experiences or maybe you have any questions about the stuff that we experienced, you can do it through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or send us a text message at 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. There's 1-815-669-4226. 669-4226. And of course, we have a couple of people to do things outside the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics. What you got, sir?
Yes, sir. As always, you can visit ivorycomics.com and see all the good works that I have. Project Geisha, Savages and the Molly Be Damned. All work is 48 pages, fully colored. That's more than you'll get from all the big two. So you get a bang for your buck. And you also get blogs, interviews, and of course, a link to the Magic Our Way podcast. You never miss a beat, never miss an episode, trip report, or how things went down as it was supposed to go down. So as always, I appreciate the support for ivorycomics.com. On social media, Facebook, you can find me there, Eli H. Ivory. That as long as you're a real person, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're not, I'm too tired to greet you. Like, that's like you hurt me worse than my feet on this trip.
No, no.
I'm just saying. Also on Facebook, there's a Project Geisha fan page. So facebook.com/Project Geisha, where you can see everything I got there. On Instagram, EIV504. I'm right there posting up the hearts and the likes and seeing what you guys got. And of course, on X, I can be found at Hancock10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation down to Walt Disney World and get a reservation at Narcoossee's or get the best tips on how to get to the River Roost, you can do it through Rachel. Rachel, how do they do this?
Yes, I would be honored to help your group, whether it's a family or a group of adults or whatever the travel makeup is, 3-generation trip, 4-generation trip. I'd be honored to help y'all plan. I book Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, Disney Cruise Line, Virgin Voyages, Disney destinations around the world, major hotel brands around the world. So pretty much if you're going to travel there, I can probably help you book it. And the best part is that my travel help and advice is completely free. It is at no extra cost to you. It costs the exact same thing if you book it yourself, but you get an ally, an expert in your corner that's going to help you with however much or as little as you'd like. So, I can help you plan that vacation soup to nuts, or I can also just book it for you and stay out of it if that's what you'd like to. But you might want to do this because you're listening to this podcast, and this is a great way that is free to you, but helps to support this podcast community because a little piece of the cost of your vacation, which you would have paid either way, comes right back here. And so we thank you so much for that. The best way to reach out to me is Rachel, Rachel, @magicourway.com. That's my email address. You can also find me on social media. I am at Our Family Magic. So that's the letter R and then the words Family Magic all smushed together. And if that's not working for you, email or social media, you can also just call me. I have a phone number. My number is 978-432-WISH, WISH. You can text me there or leave a voicemail. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so excited, so honored to help everybody who reaches out. And thank you so much. In addition, if you want to go from soup to nuts to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way. And another option, it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye!